The following program contains graphic calls to personal responsibility. If you are addicted to the system, Randall may not be right for you. Check with your local welfare office.
Let's talk about how the white man wants to keep the black man down. All right, let's try it like this. Let's talk about how the white man wants to keep the black man down.
What? Cut.
All right, how about this version? Let's talk about how the white man trying to keep the black man down. You know it's true, you've seen it. This isn't working, is it?
No.
All right, let's just do the show.
Proclaiming the truth in the highways and byways of the world. Fighting for justice in the dark alleys of politics. Raising the voice of resistance to a fevered pitch. The host who has no equal. He uses sweet and low. Randall Terry.
Yeah, he's a maniac. Ooh, but I love you, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. CBS News releases a shocking poll, and who's right, Mother Teresa or the Republican Party? And the city of Chicago considering a fat tax. I'm not making this up. Hey, us porkers, we're gonna have to start to pay our fair share. What do you think this jaw will bring, huh? Reducing the national deficit. Today's program brought to you in part by CBS Evening News, telling you lies while we throw in the truth. And by Coca-Cola, helping spread obesity and type 2 diabetes for 100 years. So much to talk about today, an enormous ethics lesson. You're not gonna wanna miss it. But first, a word from Sir Reginald Bling. Make it happen, Reggie. Just turn the thing on. I got something to say. You might have watched some television shows showing people in the very poor neighborhoods who are being run around and pushed around by drug lords. People using their drug money to make decisions for the whole neighborhood that they don't even get to choose. Well, that happens in the fancy neighborhoods too. Oh yeah. It happens in Washington, D.C. Because who do you think is running the joint? That's right, the drug lords. Yeah, we call them Pfizer and Eli Lilly, the pharmaceuticals. But I'm gonna tell you something, it's their money running the whole dang show. So whether you live in a poor neighborhood and you got some drug slumlord pushing you around, or you live in a fancy neighborhood, you still got some drug slumlord pushing you around. He just happens to wear a fancy suit, like me. Translation, hey, speak English. You're using the wrong soundtrack. Welcome to today's program, friend. My goal today is to get inside of your head on a lesson on the hierarchy of ethics. If you will stay with me through this show, my friends in Atlanta, St. Augustine, Albuquerque, New Mexico, you stay with me there in Tennessee. I promise you, you will not see the world the same after today's show. I promise you. You just have to stay with me, okay? First, quick look at the news. The city of Chicago, where Obama used to walk those mean streets as an activist. Well, activism is alive and well. They're introducing, or at least considering introducing, a tax on fat people to reduce obesity. Obesity? They're persecuting those of us that are a little bit overweight. Hey, Winston? Yes, it's true. This is what happens when the government is your mommy and your daddy and your doctor and your healer and your provider and your savior. Huh? They're talking about putting 60 cents or up to $1.20 on a liter of soda pop. Well, what's the reasoning? Well, if you go into the store and the liter of soda pop is suddenly $1.20 more, you might buy milk. You might say, There's a healthy alternative. I think I need a V8. This is about Big Brother trying to control people. You farmers who grow pigs, I'm telling you, you're next. Sausage and bacon, good. You're leading people into obesity, heart problems, cardiovascular problems with their veins. Come on. When are we going to tell the government, shut up, get out of our lives, let us be free? I would rather be a half-starved free man than a well-fed slave. And for that matter, I'd rather be a little bit overweight or a lot overweight and free, and you not telling me what I can and can't eat, putting some massive tax on soda pop. And I don't even like soda pop. I'm rising to the defense of you soda lovers. You hearing that, sweetheart? I'm talking to you, my little wife. She loves that stuff. All right, back to the news. The CBS Evening News recently conducted a poll, and they randomly asked people, hey, what's the most important thing facing America right now? What's the biggest crisis we're facing? 5% said the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. 5% said the budget deficit. 5% thinking that enslaving us and our children and our grandchildren might be a real crisis. 6% said health care, touting the party line. Don't worry, Obama, we're there behind you, 6% of us. And the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, 7%. But coming in at a whopping 38%, people said that the biggest crisis facing America was the economy. The economy? Money? The love of money is the root of all evil. Well, it's actually the love of money is the root of all sorts of evil. But that notwithstanding, it's time for a little lesson in ethics. Stay with me. Pretend it's 1858, okay? We're approaching the election of 1860, and there are 3 million human souls in bondage. Slaves. Some of them are beaten, horrifying wounds put on their bodies, teeth knocked out, dogs hunting them down. Some of them, young teenage girls, are being used as a sex slave by their master or by their master's sons. Just go down the list and imagine the horror of slavery, okay? It's 1858, and you're asked, what's the most important thing in America right now? What's the biggest crisis facing America? And imagine all of the numbers you just saw, and not one polling data, or not one item of the polling data rising up and saying it's slavery. Now, from our position, I ask you, in 1858, what do you think was the biggest crisis facing America? Yeah, slavery. Or picture it's 1939, and you're in Germany, okay? This is before the war, before Germany invaded Poland. Now, at that point, Jewish shops had been destroyed. Jews had been murdered in cold blood. Many of them were now in concentration camps in Germany. And they asked the German citizens, what's the greatest crisis in Germany right now? What's the correct answer? Well, of course, we have hindsight. I bet you there's an awful lot of them in 1858 in America and in 1939 in Germany that would have said, Achtung, it is the economy, stupid. But that very preoccupation with the economy in 1939 and in 1858 here in America would have been obscene in the eyes of heaven. And so I ask you, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, when we're all dead and gone, and they look back and they say, what was the biggest crisis facing America in 2010? What's the correct answer going to be? I can tell you this right now, it wasn't on the list. When we come back from this break, I'll tell you what they're going to say 100 years from now. Don't go away.
Randall and I made a trip to Mars as part of a secret project. Okay, I lied. It was actually to the moon with Neil Armstrong.
moments with Moses. They will stumble over one another, as if to escape a sword, though none pursues. And you shall have no power to stand before your enemies.
Welcome back to the program, friend. To answer the question, what will people be saying was the greatest crisis in 2010? 100 years from now, when they look back and we're all dead and gone, and these tapes are in some archive somewhere in a great college where people are studying this broadcasting genius and the content, and they're saying, if you want to be a great... All right, sorry, I just lost myself for a minute. 100 years from now, what will people be saying? This was the greatest crisis they faced in 2010, and they didn't even recognize it. Like Americans in 1858 with the slaves and Germans in 1939 persecuting and killing Jews. They didn't even get it. I'm going to use the words of Blessed Mother Teresa to prove my point. If someone asked, what is the greatest destroyer of peace in the world? What would you say? Here's what Mother Teresa said. I feel that the greatest destroyer of peace today is abortion, because it is a war against the child, a direct killing of the innocent child murdered by the mother herself. If someone said to you, hey, what's the leading cause of murder in the streets of America? Is it drugs? Is it economic disparities? Mother Teresa said, and if we can accept that a mother can kill her own child, how can we tell other people not to kill one another? And so, what is the greatest destroyer of peace and love? Quote, any country that accepts abortion is not teaching its people to love, but to use violence to get what they want. That is why the greatest destroyer of love and peace is abortion. Blessed Mother Teresa of Calcutta. I am sorry for the pain that many of you are in. If you are a woman or a man who has participated in the death of your own child and you are still struggling to come to grips with that horrific decision, my heart goes out to you. I'm not here to condemn you, and there are great organizations such as Rachel's Vineyard who are committed to helping men and women work through the guilt and the anguish that they have incurred by participating in the death of their own offspring. But having said that, we have got to end this Holocaust, people. And the very fact that CBS did this poll showing 5% say it's healthcare, 7% say it's the war, 38% say it's the economy, it shows that we are awash in a sea of relevance, and we're drowning in a sea of blood. Over 50 million people are dead. And the real crisis is that many men and women who are watching this show are laden with the guilt of the death of their own child. And so, for example, I have 5 blood relatives that I know are dead. 5 blood relatives of mine that I know their bodies are on an ash heap somewhere or have decayed in a sewer system. The guilt of this is on all of us, and so we have to justify it, and that's the way we want to think about it. We've got to come to terms with what we've done, and we've got to bring this killing to an end, or maybe we're going to end up like America after slavery, or like Germany after the Holocaust. God, don't let that happen. God, help us. I'll be right back. On a lighter note, I've got a song about women in politics. Oh, you're going to love this. Victory will never be found by taking the line of least resistance. Sir Winston Churchill. Welcome back to the program, friend. This Friday, we leave on a 12-day, 13-city tour through 5 states, and I'll tell you more about it tomorrow. I ask you for your prayers, and join us if you can. We're going to be in Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina. Please join us if at all possible. But first, a song in honor of some of the crazy women who are in politics. They make me nuts. The song goes out to all the crazy women in politics. Nancy Pelosi, you're crazy as a loon. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you make me howl at the moon. Olympia Snow, won't you please just go and take your silver spoon? And Dianne Feinstein, your brain is off track. Sonia Sotomayor, you don't look so good in black. Barbara Boxer, we need another Boxer rebellion just to push you back. Susan B. Anthony, I'm crying out to you. Martha Washington, oh, what we gonna do? These crazy Jezebels are taking our nation, oh, straight to hell. Michelle Obama, your Margaret Sanger's dream come true. Eleanor Keegan, girl, already seen too much of you. Eleanor Norton Holmes, what we gotta do just to keep you home? Susan B. Anthony, I'm crying out to you. Martha Washington, what we gonna do? These crazy Jezebels are taking our nation, oh, straight to hell. I know I speak for a lot of Americans when I say we want good women in politics. Deborahs, Miriams, people who stand up for truth and righteousness in the public square. But these crazy left-wing, theophobic, God-hating women, they got to go. Thank you. And by the way, I love people like Sarah Palin and Susan B. Anthony. It's the good guys that I like, and the good girls too. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to bring you up to speed on our trip calling for the filibuster of Kagan, holding Republican senators accountable to their words, and trying to mobilize people like you to fight. Don't go away. For he will deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with his pinions, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness is a shield and buckler. Hi, friend, I'm Randall Terry. Thomas Jefferson said, all tyranny needs to gain a foothold is for people of good conscience to remain silent. Boy, oh boy, if he could see us now, we are living it out in bright colors, baby. We've got people like Senator McConnell, Senator Sessions, Senator Graham from South Carolina, who say that abortion is the taking of an innocent human life, and we have to do everything we can to restore the protection of law to the unborn. And then when someone like Elena Kagan is up for the Supreme Court, who will sustain Roe versus Wade and keep millions of babies dying, they don't even have the guts to filibuster. Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong, they'll talk about it. But Then when push comes to shove, well, we're really not sure if we have the votes. And yet, no, whoa. I'm a person of good conscience. You, I hope, are a person of good conscience. And we're not going to remain silent. And so, as counterintuitive as it might seem, we're traveling on this tour to hold McConnell and Sessions and Graham's feet to the fire. Go to terrycast.com to learn more about what you can do. That's terrycast.com. God bless you.